Hey folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, and on this episode of Bike Chat, we have Evan Gross from DirtRag Magazine, and today we'll be spending some time talking about mountain biking festivals, what you can expect if you go to a mountain biking festival, and then, of course, if you go to the DirtRag Magazine Festival, Dirt Fest coming up, what you can expect if you go to that festival. So hang in there. It should be a really cool Bike Chat, so stay tuned. All right, folks. Hey, once again, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking. Thanks for tuning in to the Regular Guy Mountain Biking Bike Chat show / podcast. Remember, folks, I take the audio from these podcasts and extract that out of these things, and I send it over to my buddy Ben from Mountain Bike Radio, and we host these as podcasts as well. So while you're driving to work or you're sitting at work and you're bored out of your mind, you can be listening to some entertaining podcasts from Regular Guy Mountain Biking. And today's event will be with my friend Evan Gross from DirtRag Magazine. So I'm going to go and click on his face over here. That's Evan. Hey, Evan.
Yo, guys.
Folks, we're doing this over Google Hangouts because it was easier this way. So I'm going to play TV guy over here and click on buttons. But that is Evan from DirtRag Magazine. We're going to give him a second to introduce himself in just a moment. Remember, today's show is about learning what you can expect if you go to a mountain bike festival. Remember, this is Regular Guy Mountain Biking. Some of you have never even been to a mountain biking event, and that's cool, but it's a shame because you should. They're amazing. They're so much fun. You can meet so many people. You can have so much fun, but you might not know what to expect. Luckily, we've got an expert on the line, and we're going to go through some things to learn about that. But before we do, let's get Evan on the line over here and have him introduce himself and maybe give us a little bit of an idea of what DirtRag's all about. And we'll take it from there. So I'm going to click over to Evan, and I'm going to give you the mic, my friend. Okay, so here we go.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Evan Gross from DirtRag Mag. I've been working with the magazine, I guess, formally for just about 2 years, informally for probably the last decade, as I started Dirt Fest at Raystown Lake with Maurice Tierney, the publisher of the magazine, in an effort to sort of bring back what the Jim Thorpe Mountain Bike Weekend used to be and Pedro's Fest used to be, as there was sort of a gap in the mountain bike festival world for a little bit on the East Coast. So my role with DirtRag is largely events coordinator. So I'm on site at a lot of third-party events, whether it's National American Handmade Bike Show, Philly Bike Expo, out at Interbike, down at Santos Mountain Bike Festival, but usually ones at those, and then also organize Dirt Fest at Raystown Lake in Pennsylvania, and then Dirt Fest down in West Virginia as well.
Cool. I remember, let me click over here real quick. I remember attending Pedro's Fest. In fact, I'll turn that off so it switches back and forth between us automatically. It was years ago. But we went to Pedro's Fest, a bunch of friends of mine. In fact, I've got some old pictures that one of these days I'll dig up. There was a lot less rules back then with Pedro's Fest, so some of those pictures I won't be posting, Evan. Okay, just for let's just play it safe. But there used to be something called, I don't know. So Evan, did you go to the Pedro's Fest way back when? We're talking like maybe 10, 15 years ago. Maybe?
No, I mean, honestly, I was a little bit young at the time.
All right, thanks, Evan. Thanks, Evan. All right, yeah, all right. Hey, we're gonna cut this interview a little short because apparently I have to go take a nap now because I'm that old, huh? All right. Well, anyway, Evan, there used to be something called the disco tent at Pedro's Fest. So any of you folks that have a little history and used to go to Pedro's Fest, you already know what I mean by the disco tent. And dude, we used to party like rock stars at the disco tent. There was a group of guys that would show up with all these, with the speakers, with the lights, with the generator, and man, we would have a good time. And that's when I learned about something called Mike's Hard Lemonade. And some of those nights were good times at the Pedro's Fest. Good times at the Pedro's Fest.
Yeah.
So let's do this, folks. Let's talk about real quick. You've never been to a mountain biking event before, okay? Maybe you haven't. Or maybe you've been to some smaller ones and you don't know what they scale up and they offer. Let's go hand it over to Evan and get an idea of, if you haven't been to a mountain biking festival before, or you have, but maybe there's some smaller local ones, let's get an idea of what you can expect if you go to one, and maybe some things to prepare for on your own end before you get to the event, so that you make sure you have a good time. Because Evan's been doing these and certainly has some knowledge on the topic. So I'm going to hand it over to him, and we'll get some feedback on this.
Yeah, so I think one of the things we deal with most often is sort of the intimidation factor of, hey, I'm this guy or gal looking to go to my first mountain bike festival, and I don't really have a crew to go with. You know, my buddy has a kid now, and the other fellow's getting married that weekend, so I want to go to this thing, but I don't have friends to go with. Uh, Everybody's there for the same reason they like bikes. So you show up, everybody there is there because they want to be around other people that ride bikes. They want to talk to people that ride bikes. They want to tell you about their bike. They want to talk to you about their trails, where they're riding, what they love to do on a bike. So I think right off the bat, just do yourself the favor and sign up. I mean, take the first step, register, say, you know, I'm going to commit to doing this. I'm not going to freak out at the last minute and cancel because I don't know anybody there. By the end of the weekend, you're going to know half the people there and have ridden with the other half. So start by signing up. I think next up is the, you know, sort of breaking into the camp crowd. I mean, you show up early if you're by yourself, so you get the nice spot sort of tucked in the trees, and, you know, you're there far enough away from the fire pit where you don't have to be up till 3 a.m. But at the same time, get to know your neighbors. I mean, walk over and talk about where they're from. Do the license plate trick, which is great. You know, look at what their license plate says, front and back. Talk to them about the part of the state they're from. Maybe you've ridden where they've ridden. Just sort of break the ice that way. And then, you know, you can always look at their bike and say, "Oh man, nice bike. You know, I never heard of it," or you know, sort of go that route of just breaking the ice, breaking down the barrier. But really, I think remembering that they're there because they want to be around other people that like bikes. So go solo if you have to. If you can go with a group, I'd still encourage you to wander around the campground, get to know your neighbors, you know, integrate in part of the community, because that way you might want to go ride in their backyard and they can offer some local beta. So you know, break down the barriers.
Those are great tips. I know when we go there, one of the great things about these events is that they're already planned out rides, and they're usually planned out by different skill levels. So just like you said, it's not like you're going to go there and, oh, I'm going to get lost. I don't know where I'm going. I got to go with my friends, you know, or I got to take out trail forks and figure out how to figure this whole thing out. No, these trails are already mapped out, well mapped out, and they're usually, released meaning everyone's getting together in lines and everyone, okay, let's go middle, you know, let's go pro, you know, there's different times to go. So you can get in with a group of people and go out for a ride. There's nothing to be nervous about with that, because it's already set up for you, and you can pick the class you want to ride with. So you don't have to worry about getting dropped, which they're not going to drop you anyway. It just doesn't work that way. These festivals are all about having fun and meeting people. So you're not going to get dropped. No one's going to leave you in the woods. That's not what they're about. They're about making friends. So you'll always be able to get in on a ride and get on a loop because it's already ready for you.
Well, and I think to that point, you know, another one that we hear is, oh man, there's going to be all these people all over the trails going this way and that way and this way. And it's like, no, like a lot of the festivals you're going to anymore, they make the trails directional in the best possible flow, so that the way there isn't any safety issues, but also, you know, you don't want to interrupt your ride by having 100 people coming the opposite way. So it's, even though it's a high use time frame, it's laid out in the best possible way for traffic. So you still get an awesome ride in. At Dirt Fest, where we've got, you know, some 3,000 people per event day, you still have great sections of trail where you might not see anybody until the next intersection. So yeah, I don't think be squeezed out by the fact that there's so many people out on the trails, but just stoked that there's that many other people like you out there.
Right. That's a good point. Plus, not for nothing, folks, how many rides have you ever gotten to go on where it's maybe more than you and 2 or 3, 4 of your buddies? Like, it's an experience to be able to go for a ride and look in front of you and see like 10 people and turn behind you and see maybe 10 more. That's just cool in itself, you know, and it's fun, you know, because you don't get to do things like that, especially if you're up for it and you like doing night rides. Some of these have night rides. I mean, come on, going for a night ride and literally looking behind you and seeing, not right behind you, don't get blinded, but behind you and seeing 20 headlights. That's just freaking insane. You can't do that. Even if you have a good group of guys you ride with, you don't get that same level of experience. It's another level of excitement to just be out there and like you're all hanging out. I don't know. It's just, I'm getting excited because it's just so much fun to be with all those people with the same mindset, just to go for a ride and have a good time.
No, and I think that's the end sort of sentiment about festivals, is that it's about going for a ride and going out for a weekend and having some fun. And the weekends are set up to have fun. So go to a festival.
Definitely. So now let's do this. You've never been to a festival before. What do you bring? What should you prepare for? Guess it would depend on if you're going to be overnight or not. But let's, you don't have to go through like, okay, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, but on a high level Cliff Note version, what should you prepare yourself for to bring along if you're going to attend an event?
Yeah, I think starting with the camp and sort of weekend amenities setup, and then moving into demo items. But the obvious ones: bike lock, blinker lights. Both the white and red blinker lights for the front and back of the bike, because you're going to be riding around at night. Maybe it's going to live music, maybe it's going out for the night ride, but just having some little light that's always stuck to the bike, so that way you spend too much time at your buddy's campsite and you need to get back. At least you're not stumbling through the dark over somebody's tent guy lines or something like that. Other things, I love the river bags, like mesh river bags for all your nasty, muddy gear over the course of the weekend. Just gets tossed into one of those. Like tarps and changing stuff. You can never have too much of that. A rainy festival weekend is bad as it is, but if you got a couple tarps that you can just stash and throw up, even because you didn't plan on using them, go for it. As far as the other stuff, like pressure washers and bike washes, you've generally got all that stuff at festivals anyway, so don't waste your time with it. Basic camp kitchen stuff, even, a lot of the places have awesome food service, or even like meal ticket programs or food ticket programs. And, go to ride, not to cook.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But yeah, those sorts of basics. But the big things that I'll hit are more the demo items that people don't think to bring. Bring your own bike, certainly, but also a spare set of pedals. Whether you're riding clipless or flat, you're used to the tension that's set up on your pedals. You're used to the pins that are on the bottom of your flat pedal. So showing up to the demo line, giving them your pedals, whether they're flats or clips, will make you feel better on the bike to begin with. And that way, when you go out and ride it, you're not worried that your clip's going to pop out because the tension on the pedal's too loose, or, oh, the one side of the clip pedal's not working because they've used it on the demo truck all year. Other piece would be driver's license. A lot of people don't think to bring their driver's license with them from camp up to the demo area, but if you want to jump on a demo bike, they're going to want some collateral. So bring your driver's license, always carry it with you, especially if you're there by yourself. Then if you do happen to have an accident or something like that, somebody can easily identify who you are or where you were when you had it. So those would be the more demo specific items that I think a lot of people maybe neglect to bring or don't really think about at first.
Good points.
Others would be, if you're looking at suspension bikes or test riding suspension bikes, they generally do a pretty good job of setting up the suspension for you, but also bring in a shock pump. You're out there, you're going to be on the trail for probably 40 minutes on this demo bike. If in the first 10 you realize the suspension setup is not where you wanted it, you can add a little bit of air. You don't have to be an expert in it. Add 10 PSI, go ride it, see if that feels a little bit better. That way, if you let too much out, you can continue to add it, or you can stiffen things up. And it's something that the demo drivers aren't going to be upset about. It's not like you're taking the brake off and rebuilding the hub or anything like that. You're just
right.
Just adding a little pressure.
Yeah. That's important, especially if you were looking to demo one of those bikes. Sometimes people, they go out to demo these bikes because they are thinking about maybe buying one of the bikes. A lot of the bike shops let you demo the bike, but even that might just be, well, I mean demo, ride it around in their parking lot. You can't expect the bike shop to have every single bike in stock and let you ride them all over. That's a hell of an investment for a bike shop. So you go to these events sometimes in the mindset of, I want to test out this bike and give it a ride. So Evan, that's a great point. If you're going to do that and you don't set up the suspension correctly, or you're not riding with your specific pedals, hell, how are you going to get an accurate feel for the bike that you think you might purchase? So those are good points.
You might totally write off that perfect bike because the suspension was set, way too soft for your weight, or wasn't set at all. The other piece is, if you're going to a festival to specifically demo bikes with maybe the intent to purchase, educate yourself about the brands that are coming. They always publish a list.
That's a good point.
Say, oh man, I want to check out the new Specialized Stump Jumper, or Salsa Pony Rustler or something. Okay, what is that bike all about? Does it match the criteria that I want to get on? versus going there, showing up at the booth, and they set you up on a 180 millimeter travel, you know, downhill bike or something. It's like, oh, well, that's not the bike I was even looking at, but I showed up and said I want to try a full suspension bike.
Well,
So
the other thing too is that to your point earlier about getting there to get the campsite, remember that if you do that research and you're expecting to test out a particular bike, don't think there's going to be 1,000 of them. I mean, if you're going there to test out that bike, I mean, first of all, go to a festival for more than that in mind. You should be going there to have a good time and meet people. But part of it is, you know, I really wanted to test that bike. You know, get your butt up there fast, right? There's only so many, and then you got to wait for someone else to return it. And that's not cool too, you know?
There's some new things happening with that. I mean, you get companies like Specialized just rolled out a pre-demo program where if they're at a festival and it's a larger festival, you can actually sign up ahead of time to demo bikes at certain times.
That's awesome.
So that way you're getting the right size, which is another one I'll hit on. You know, a lot of people, they stand in line for 10 minutes. They get up to the front. They say, what size are you? You say, oh, I'm an XL, and they only have a large there. Don't go ride the large. You're going to be, you know, you're just going to be miserable, and then you'll probably write that bike off as well. So wait for the right size. If there's options to sign up ahead of time to demo bikes, sign up ahead, take advantage of that program. A lot of the larger companies are offering that, as there's, I can't remember the name of the company, but they just released a software that allows people to just sign up ahead and either give their driver's license number or credit card info. So yeah, making it a little bit more convenient, but also getting people on the bikes they actually want to ride.
Kind of like the whole Disneyland thing, you know, when you go ahead and pick your time to go on the roller coaster, right?
Exactly.
So now I got that for demos. Cool. So other than bikes, what can people expect to demo at these type of things? Is it just bikes, or can you expect to see other things too?
That's, yeah, I think one of the often missed opportunities or missed connections is demoing non-bike gear, non-actual bikes. So you know, cool ones like Industry 9, and I know DT Swiss did it for a while, but they actually had demo wheel programs. So you're in love with your bike. You've got this you know, new bike. You bought it last year. You really like it, but man, you have a little bit of cash laying around, or you know, maybe the wheels just aren't working for you. You want something a little bit lighter. You want something maybe a little stiffer or with better engagement. Stop over at one of the wheel demo booths, and even I guess Stan's is doing it as well now. But they'll actually swap your wheels out. So they'll take your wheels off your bike, swap new shoes on there, and go ride for a while. And
that's awesome.
Better way to feel the difference of a nice wheel set than try it on your own bike that you're familiar with.
That is cool.
Yeah, well, and super smart when it comes to, you know, selling the product. I mean, geez, it felt like, you know, a way better riding bike. So maybe I should buy these wheels now. Or
you won't know how it really, if you ride a bike with their wheels on it, you know, you have that variable of the bike you're trying it on. So you don't really know if is it the bike or is it the wheels. But now, like you said, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you're actually riding those things.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's one of the very cool, easy sell demo options. And then you've got, you know, some of the soft goods, ones that I was surprised, like Osprey does a demo hydration packs, which again, you know, sort of like, wait, really? Like, like, you know, like I'm just testing out this big water bottle. Well, no, they've got awesome retention systems. The actual bladder that you use during the demo, usually they're offered to sell it to you for like $10, and then donate these sales to the trails, or you don't have to buy it and they end up like washing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, gives you, it's like, oh man, like, is there really a difference? You're at the festival, you might as well throw on one of these, and if you really love it, then they usually have some sort of discount promo for you. Right. Shoes are the other one. You know, you don't know what other shoes feel like until you ride them. And again, you know, riding it on your own bike and your own pedals and trying out, you know, last year it was, I think 510 had flats that you could just try out. And they're, you know, a lot of people, oh, that, you know, that's sort of gross. It's like, no, like you go to bowling lanes, you go ice skating, you go skiing, like you tried on other people's shoes.
You've had your feet in other people's funk before, so don't think it's the first time, my friends.
Exactly. And they swap the insoles out for you. So yeah. Helmets, you got a lot of brands now starting to do helmets, just showing about, you know, how well they breathe, how light they are, the fit retention on them. Maybe you've got a long head as opposed to a round head. You know, so the companies out there have realized that by demoing their products, if they truly believe they're awesome and are going to change your riding style or improve it, then why not demo it?
No, that's a good point. Now, the other thing too, folks, is if you do happen to have a little bit of disposable cash and you're able to sneak it away and don't tell your wife about it, there's always good deals at these things. So a lot of vendors will just have things there to sell. You know, sometimes I mean, you got to figure, talk about a market. You could have like Dirt Fest, like everyone said, 3,000 people at an event, somewhat captive audience, and every single person at that event has the same thing in mind: mountain biking. Like, you don't even have to wonder if your product is going to fit that audience. If it has anything to do with mountain biking, there's a damn good chance everyone at that event will at least be somewhat interested in it. It's not even a guess. So definitely bring some cash with you. I mean, you're in the middle of the woods, so I can't guarantee that the credit card machine is going to work, or they're going to have an ATM in an oak tree or something like that. So bring some money. But you go to these things, you can get some pretty good deals. Or if not that, at least take a look at some of the products that are out there that you might want to go home later on and purchase. So it's even if it's not a demo, it's a take a look and feel, see some of these different things that are out there and check them out. So that's kind of cool too.
Well, like with the demo bikes and even the wheel sets, I know a lot of the companies will give you a discount card that if you buy a bike or a wheel set, and within 30 days they give you some % off. So they really do want you to, love their product and, hopefully throw them some bucks to buy it.
Cool. So let's do this. Now that you folks have an idea of what you can possibly find at one of these festivals, and there's just so much more, but you can only go so much. And also remember that some of the things that you can find are specific. So I looked at some of my older pictures from Pedro's Fest. There was a Lance was when he was riding for Cannondale, he was doing trial shows. There was there was a mud slide that people were oh, that was just hysterical. And there was a skinny contest. So depending on the thing you go to, there could be different things. So let's move this one over to Dirt Fest. So Evan, if let's get the dates and what people can expect if they go to Dirt Fest, and at your event, at the DirtRag event, what can they expect, and what might be special about this event that they might not be able to get at other ones?
Sure. So dates first, May 18th through 20th of 2018 is our Raystown Lake, Pennsylvania event out towards the center of the state on the Allegrippus trails, which are super beginner friendly. A lot of people, say, oh, it's 36 miles of rolling, fast, flowy trails, nice. Lakeside. Open to the public year round, maintained by the local Raystown Mountain Bike Association, like so many trail systems are. And then we also do another one in West Virginia in the middle of July, the 14th, 15th, 16th of July, at Big Bear Lake Trail Center, which is a private area with about 50 miles of trail. Much more all mountain, I'd say intermediate to expert rider, though the guys down there are working to build out some new beginner trails. Gotcha. As they've partnered with the West Virginia High School Mountain Bike Series to host the first NICA race down there this year. So getting some easier trails in, but we see it sort of like folks that came to Raystown may graduate sometimes and go down to Big Bear, or people in PA who just have rocky, rooty trails all the time come out to Allegrippus because it's not that.
Gotcha. Cool. So you've got a couple of them coming up. That's good.
Yeah. And as far as what to expect, generally we have 60 to 80 vendor exhibitors, those sorts of folks in a big outdoor expo. But we've also got, the group rides that we talked about, whether they're night rides or all day epic rides or kids rides, all those sort of standard mountain bike festival fare. Where things start to get different, we've worked with Take Aim Cycling, which Harlan does an awesome skills program over the course of the weekend. So skills clinics, they're all free or included in the price of the festival pass. So you can go to one clinic on Friday that's about, uphill turns and how to ride those. You might go to one on Saturday that's about how to ride drops. You might go to a jumping clinic on Sunday. And they're all scaled, from beginner level, just how to ride rollers, to expert level riding drops and taking jumps. So all sorts of stuff there. Every sort of skill that you might want to learn, whether bunny hopping or dropping or hopping over logs, are covered. So we've got those. Then we've also got a women-specific skills series that we're working with SRAM on. So it's actually a women's only skills series that'll do some of the similar stuff to the non-gender specific drops, but they'll also do some off the bike skills. So again, sort of with the beginner mountain biker in mind, suspension setup, brake setup, just the getting on the bike and how to make it work best for you, going over those skills. Also, other non-on the bike clinics that are going to be setting up tubeless, setting up, how to shift, and those sort of basic but very important skills to master.
So how do people find out about these? Is that going to be, is there an agenda? So do you have something on the website so they know when to do this, or do you get that when you go to the event?
No, both. So right now it's up on the web so people can sort of plan their weekend and see, oh man, I need to hit the drop clinic, and I also want to go on the night ride, or maybe I want to go to the suspension setup clinic. So, all those sorts of pieces are online, but then they also get a print schedule when they show up, and there's like a whatever mobile friendly version one now. So they get all that info. And yeah, a lot of, the group stuff. So then we've got live bluegrass the one night, an awesome roots reggae band the other night, movie nights, observe the night sky. We've got a foraging by bike. So looking for like mushrooms in the wild, or looking for like ginseng, and like how to do that by bike and where to look. And so yeah, sort of the tangential pieces of going mountain biking.
That's awesome.
Being good stewards, I guess. So,
cool.
Yeah.
So quite a lot. I mean, some of these things they weren't at Pedro's Fest. We didn't have some of these things. This is pretty cool. Well, so you got it pretty big now.
Started, Dirt Fest originally started in 1991 and 92. I mean, I was like 5 at the time. I didn't attend, but they had the bike toss and the mud bog and the lake jump and those sorts of those were sort of the classics. And we're bringing the bike toss back this year. We held it the first couple years, but there'll be an impromptu bike toss. A lot of fun that way. So
that's cool. They used to have one like a mud bog, and I remember that was the first time I'd seen an all-wheel drive mountain bike. There literally was a mountain bike there. This one company had a that was it. That was them. Yes.
Oh, yeah, dude. No, those are very cool.
Right, exactly.
I believe they just came out with a fat bike maybe 2 years ago when that whole thing blew up.
You're right. That was the brand, and they had a suspension, a drivetrain that would go through the from the center of the bike up through the down tube, and it would go through the fork, and there was a linkage in between where the steer to, and you then back down the fork, and you would actually have a front wheel that was moving, right? It was turning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you see some pretty cool things when you go to these shows. So, folks, here's what we're going to do. We're going to end this now because I think we did a pretty darn good job. And I think the thing you should be focusing on now is, when are you going to go to your next event, right? I mean, that's what you should be doing, looking at maybe the DirtRag website to find out if you can attend one of these. Actually, you know what? Let me ask you one more question, Evan. So, okay, can't make it to DirtRag Dirt Fest. That's a bummer. Where do people find out about other festivals? That's probably a good way to end this. So how do people get more knowledge on these things? Is it just more get on forums, go to your bike shop? What do you do to get more information on new shows?
Well, depending on why you're going, if you're going because you want to be around the other mountain bikers and expose yourself to the community and get involved that way, I'd say, yeah, jump on your local club forum and see where your local club guys are going.
Gotcha.
If you're going there to buy a bike or demo a bike or do that sort of thing, go to the manufacturer's website.
Good point.
Or, the other one that just came out it's demodays.com. It's a website that's now devoted towards getting folks aware of when demos are occurring, how they're occurring, what brands are going to be there, what brands to follow. He's got a lot of filters on there now to be able to search that. Awesome. And then, we've got event listings on our website. I know a lot of the other media outlets have event listings on their websites. Festivals that I would say are of note aside from Dirt Fest would be, like NEMBA Fest up in Vermont. You've got Canaan Mountain Bike Festival down in West Virginia, Santos Fat Tire Festival down in Florida in the sort of like in the March timeframe. So yeah, some some great East Coast festivals that, all sort of have that same awesome mountain biker vibe that aren't too sales driven or focused.
Nice. Cool. Well, look, I want to thank you, Evan, for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. I know we had a little bit of we tried to book this before, and I literally lost power in my house the day of, and I couldn't do the show, and I was really bummed because I was looking forward to it, and rightfully so, because I had a great time talking to you today. So that's why I wanted to do this. I thought it was a really great topic. So, Evan, thanks so much for being on the show today. And any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say goodbye to the folks over here?
Yeah, I think keep riding, keep pedaling, and get to know your neighbors.
Love it. Love it, man. Hey, folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking. Today, we had Evan Gross from DirtRag Magazine. Pretty lucky to have him today. And we're always doing these different shows. So if you'd like to learn more about these different bike chats, please subscribe to the channel. Click that little bell so you get alerted to these things so you know what's going on. I've got some other posts around here on the page. I don't know which way I should be pointing, but somewhere around here, I've got some links to other great bike chats that we recently did. So you can learn more about it. And if you want to ask any questions, put them in the comments below. Anything specific, I can always email Evan if it's something DirtRag specific or anything I can help you with. Whatever, we're here to help. But in the meantime, keep the party on the pedals, my friends. So thankful for you to watch these shows. I hope you get out to a festival this year, and we'll catch you later on in the next video. See you later.